So if you're thinking about buying a home, but you want to make sure you're fully prepared for that home ownership, this is the video for you. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Zach Sad. I'm a local realtor here in South Florida, providing you with the best info in the real estate game. If you haven't already, go and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, get notified when I put out a new video every single week. The very first thing you're going to want to do when you're looking to buy a house is you want to really build your credit up. You want as high of a credit score you can get, but honestly, if you get it to if it's anywhere from 750 to 800, it's going to be the same thing no matter what. But when the lenders look at your credit score, what they're looking at is what type of rate you should be getting. What that credit score is affects your rate. So if you have a 620, you're going to have a higher rate than somebody who has a 750. That's just because the 750 person, they know that they can handle more financial responsibility compared to the 620 person. You actually also need to have at least a 620 for most lenders to lend you anyways. To maybe qualify for a loan, you want at least a 620 credit score. So if you're sitting around a 580, 590, you might want to consider going and talking to a credit repair person and getting yourself jumped up to 620 at least. That way you can still get a loan. The second thing you're going to do is, if you can, try and really build up your income. Realistically, you should be getting raises every single year, or job hopping to a different job that will give you a raise every single year. I really recommend job hopping. I think it's really good. I think a common misconception is that you need to stay at the same job for 2 years for you to get a loan, but that's just not true. What you do need is to stay in the same kind of position or a similar position for 2 years of work experience to be able to get that loan. So let's say you're a painter. You don't need to work at a certain painting company for 2 years for you to get a loan. You just need to be a painter for, it could be many different companies, for 2 years. I had one client who was getting paid X amount of dollars, and then within the span of a year, she went up almost $10 because she job hopped to a bunch of different companies over and over again and went more and more money each time. Now, you don't want to job hop too much because then employers will look at that in a bad way. But if you job hop every 6 months, maybe even 3 months, you want to be careful though with that. And then just keep doing it to get yourself to a certain level, and then go off of those yearly raises after that, and maybe even job hop to a different place every year or so. You'll really keep bumping up your pay, which is what you want, because you want to keep up with the inflation. You want to make sure that you can always afford more. The very next thing you want to do when you're trying to prepare for homeownership is you want to make sure you save as much money as possible. Really cut down your spending. Try to get your debt down as much as you can as well, and just save as much as you can separately. And make sure you save into a bank account as well, because you do not want just a shoebox of cash sitting right there. It has to be in a bank account, because you're not allowed to deposit that money into a bank account. When you hear people say that they're buying with cash, that doesn't mean that they're buying with straight up cash. They have the cash in a bank account, and it's going to come out of that. So make sure whatever you save goes into a savings account. And I would even recommend maybe opening a high interest savings account. That way you're at least making more money on top of your money, better than saying like PNC. Theirs only has a 0.01% interest, where something like Ally could have something as high as a 2% interest. It really just depends on what you look at and how long you're going to be saving for. There's also a big misconception that you need to save at least 20%, which is just very not true. You can save as low as 3.5%, get an FHA loan, and you can maybe even get the lender or the seller to pay your closing costs for you and get the house for only 3.5%. You might want to save maybe 10% of the purchase price, because that way you can cover your down payment, cover your closing costs, and you can have some emergency savings set aside in case anything happens. The last thing you're going to want to do after you build your credit, build your income, and save up all that money is you're going to want to actually determine, where do you even want to live? Do you want to stay where your location you're in now? Do you want to go to a different state, a different city? I'm in Port St. Lucie currently, but I might want to go move to Palm Beach later on. So if I'm going to buy in Port St. Lucie, I got to make sure the place I buy, I'm not going to even be staying there that long, because then I'll just sell it and move on. Make sure that where you want to live is where you want to stay. Make sure you enjoy that area. Maybe even rent there for a year to make sure you actually like it enough to then buy there, or Airbnb it, and then really just explore as much as you can to make sure that, yeah, this is where I want to buy, this is where I want to settle down, this is where I want to live. And that is more or less what you need to do to prepare yourself for home ownership. I really hope this video helped you out, and if it did, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, follow, whatever. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to DM me here, and I'd be happy to help out. Thanks for watching. See ya.